And that's why you can't fart and whistle at the same time.
Fair enough.
Hello and welcome to the Phil Shy podcast. I'm Peter Bell, and with me as always, the nicest man comedy, Paddy Linton.
Hello.
I say as always, genuinely we do spend far too much time together to the point where we started syncing up outfits.
I know, mate. We're both, like, for those listening, we're both wearing an Alessi jumper. Yes. We look like we're at a school disco in 1999. Ready?
When you've got a podcast at 7 and then a fight with the Rangers Ultras at 8. Genuinely. No wonder your bird asks questions about us too, honestly. So do you want to start with the Premier League, or do you want to talk about the European Championships draw first?
Well, I'll quickly talk about the draw.
Aye, because you're going to be over there.
Mate, I'm in Dusseldorf. For the first 6 games. The first 6 days, not the first 6 games.
I was going to say.
Can't afford that shit. Unfortunately for us, we won't be there in time for the Germany game.
Aye.
Like, we'll be there in time to watch it, but we can't get to Munich for Dusseldorf. It's fucking pain in the ass.
Well, yeah, just in case none of you know, Scotland drew Germany, Switzerland and Hungary. And Germany being the hosts, they're the opening match, and we're playing them in the opening game.
The Friday night.
That's going to be the most beer drunk in Germany ever. It's still one of my favourite stories from the France 98 World Cup. There was a base set up for all the Scotland fans. I can't remember in what city it was. It might have been Marseille or Bordeaux. And in the 3-day weekend the Scotland fans were there, they drank more beer in those 3 days than that entire city drinks in a year.
Fantastic.
Makes you proud to be
Scotland.
Yeah, this is almost a nightmare group for me, because obviously we've got the one really top team in there. I know Germany have been a bit off recently, but they're Germany. Yeah. And it's a home tournament for them. But Hungary and Switzerland are just good enough that they're both above us in the rankings, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And they're just good enough that they'll probably knock us out, but they're not good enough that England fans will still rip the pish for it.
Yeah. But you only need to finish third in the group. Well,
second, I think.
No, I think there's for the third place, because it's a 24 team.
The best place third.
So that's what we're aiming for. That's Scotland, mate. That's what we're aiming for already.
Can I just say that system does not merit. It doesn't reward merit. If you're finishing third in a 4-team group and still going through, that's fucking out of order, isn't it?
That's what the World Cup used to be like.
I know, but it's just
the 70s.
It's madness. Hungary are a good team. They blitzed their qualification. Switzerland usually do better than most people expect at tournaments. I think they took France to either the extra time or penalties in the World Cup. It's going to be tough, that.
Buzzing, mate. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, see if they were bigger teams than Hungary and Switzerland, you've got that sort of extra motivation of, yes, we're the underdog, let's go kill a giant. But they're just at that level that I can see has drawn both, one or both of those games, and that just not being enough. I don't expect us to get anything off of Germany, but you never know.
Never know, mate. Just happy to be here.
Honestly,
happy about the party.
I'll be drunk and watching it the entire time anyway.
England got up here. Typical England draw as well.
What is it? Well, to be fair to them, is it not based on your positioning and qualifications stuff like that? They always do get an easy draws, man, and they always get an easy run into the finals as well. To be honest with you, but this is a really good approach to take on an English football podcast. Just instantly start shitting on it.
I fucking wicks.
But it's going to be a fun tournament. It's nice to be back at Euros again. That's 2 in a row we've qualified for. And to think that people whipped Steve Clark out. I almost said, it wasn't too long ago people were saying, I almost said Steve Keane there, and that's a throwback thing. I was not expecting.
Steve Keane out.
The former Blackburn manager Steve Keane. Right, so it is a group we can get through, but I just don't think we will. But, I'm on the Scotland.
I'm on the Scotland.
Anyway, so that's that done. What else have we got? So where should we start in this? It's actually quite a good weekend for both us.
Yep.
Your team won and beat presumably the team you hate most other than Sunderland.
Yep.
And not only did Arsenal win, but City didn't win, which was also very nice for me.
And Spurs didn't win either.
Yeah.
Perfect weekend.
In fact, that's a perfect game to start on, City versus Spurs. It's a really, over the past few years, that game's been wild, and it's never gone the way you expect. I think Spurs have won 6 games against Pep Guardiola in the time he's been there, which is better than I think anyone else in the league. I don't know how they do it because they've not exactly been brilliant, but they just find a way to.
It's Man City's bogey team.
I know, and it's so bizarre to think that with all the players they have out as well to go and get a draw at the Etihad. I mean, we're talking about Liverpool being happy with that. Spurs must have been over the fucking moon.
Fuck aye, especially losing 3-2, getting into like last minute.
Yeah, I mean, they were missing their two key centre backs, and that was visible very, very quickly. They just panicked at the back every time they were trying to pass it out, which again, obviously that's the way Ange plays his football, but when it's going that wrong that consistently, you do think surely at some point you've got to play it a bit longer.
There was I watched the game and like there was a point at 2-2 where like the keeper just like took a goal kick long.
Aye.
And like the commentators were like, finally, man. Like, they should have been doing that ages ago.
Spurs got the first goal though, wasn't it? Aye, it was Son. But
he outpaced Doku.
Well, to be fair, I think Doku isn't used to being in a defensive position.
I know, but he's running a straight line, and Son,
he's completely misread the ball, that kind of thing. It's not his job, to be honest with you. But Son, to get the header, the way he controlled it on his head, and then ran through and scored, it was really good from him. And he's just. I'm not going to say he's an all-time Premier League great because he's nowhere near that, but
might be by the end of his career. But
over the past 5-6 years, obviously I had a bit of a blip last year, but it's hard to think of a player that's been more consistent in delivering for his team than what he's been. Yeah,
brilliant, man.
He's a brilliant
play him
player.
Anywhere as well.
Aye, like through anywhere on that front three really, but he's just so consistent for them, and it doesn't surprise me he's given the captain's armband because he's clearly beloved by his teammates. I don't know if he's got the voice for it though, but maybe captaincy's changed since like the days of Keane and Vieira, and
there's different types of captains, mate. Like people who lead by example, and
and he would be
like
that
shouting at people.
It's like Odegaard being the Arsenal captain. I don't think that's not who I would pick, but the people I'd pick either don't play for the club anymore or
Tony Adams.
I would have gone with either Kieran Tierney or Aaron Ramsdale because they're actual leaders on the pitch. But it's gone all right, to be fair with Odegaard. I can't really complain. Declan Rice would be also a very good shout, but he's too new to the club. But Son just seems to be. People kind of get motivated just by the fact that he's energetic, driven, and a smiley guy. Everyone says he's the nicest person, but
I make stuff happen, man. Like he's nothing.
He's a great player, and all that is saying that, I thought he did score an own goal.
Like 3 minutes later, 3 minutes later. Although to be fair to him, he had no idea.
No,
like the ball shouldn't. Like if you're in a packed penalty area, like the ball shouldn't be hitting you in the thigh. Like,
no,
somebody should be getting a read on it.
And you are obligated, if you're in that position, to try and get it away, try and get it over the bar or something like that. It was unfortunate for him. It'd be harsh to blame him too badly for that.
Unfortunate for him, you say with a big smile on your face.
I mean, again, I do like him. I just like to see Tottenham in pain. Holland. Who'd have thought we'd ever be using his name in the same sentence as Chris Iwelumo? But
on the Iwelumo scale, mate,
where does that sit?
I think like for a regular striker, that's like a 5 or a 6. It's no like glaring, but for Holland, like he should be burying that every time
because it's an open goal. I genuinely, if you give him 90 that shot 99 100 times he's scoring 99. I don't know how he puts that wide.
I know.
No wonder he was in a bad mood by the end of the game because between that and everything else, I mean, Jesus. Doku actually also had a very good chance just after that where he dribbled past a few people and then I think he hit the exact joint of the crossbar in the post, which is the most unlucky I think you could possibly be. But I think because they didn't have the regular centre backs in and they were so focused on Haaland and trying to stop him, it gave Doku so much more space. And it's like they haven't learned by watching him this season. You give him any kind of space, you need to double up on him. You give him any space at all, he's just going to cause you problems, and he did all game. And honestly, City could have been 3-4 up in that first half. Even though Spurs scored, it could have been 4-5-1. with the chances they had.
I think any team in the league, regardless how many injuries you've had, like you're going to have to ride your luck against City away.
Yeah, 100%.
There's just going to be spells where they're on tap you making chance after chance.
I mean, I hadn't even... It was one of their centre-backs called Emerson.
Yep.
Like, because I
Emerson
thought...
Royale, innit?
Was it him?
Aye. Because I usually plays left back.
Because I was thinking of Emerson Palmieri, but I thought he was at West Ham, and I was like... Aye, so that was Royale, right? Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But yeah, he's not a centre.
Nah, he's a left back.
He's not at all. Who was the other one that game? Was it Davis? Because it was another guy that wasn't normally played there, and I just think you've got no chance, absolutely no chance.
But to be fair to Spurs, they kept the high line the whole game. Like they pressed the whole game. Like
yeah, but they should have conceded like 8 goals.
Doesn't matter. Like they still get a result. Like fair play. Because we did say this after the reason Chelsea got a result against City. I know it was at home, so it's slightly different. But the reason is because they got in their face.
Yeah,
and City aren't used to it, especially at Etihad.
Yeah, no, that is
like,
true.
They did get rattled.
But you'd also need to watch your arse whilst you're doing that. Like, if you're pressing, you need to press from the front, not press from the back.
Aye.
So I don't know. Like I'm a big fan of Ange, but I do think at times that kind of philosophy is going to get you into bother in that league. It's a bit risky. It's like with the Celtic Real Madrid game. Played very well, created chances, probably should have scored, but then got tore open at the other way. But obviously they had Modric and Kroos, so it's a bit of a cheat code, to be honest with you, against the defence that we had that day. Brilliant football for City's second goal, though. The passing in and around the box was just...
It's like, you know how when you play FIFA online, you play against these wee sweaty bastards, like just knock it down the line and then cut it back. But like the second and third was exactly like that.
So for the layman amongst us, would you mind explaining to the listeners and viewers what you mean by sweaty?
Sweating, it's because you're trying really hard to score. Wee sweaty bastards. But I like they scored 2 sweaty goals. But the football leading up to it was fucking incredible.
Yeah, it was like
Foden's especially
textbook City. It was really, really nice football, and it just created so much space in there for them, like the patience, the pass, and the movement. And at the time, like they fully deserved that goal. They deserved to go ahead, and it kind of looked like it might get a bit embarrassing for Tottenham at that point in time, because Alvarez, I think, hit the post as well.
That's right. Haaland missed his sitter.
Aye, and I love Alvarez, man. Another annoyingly talented young player for them. Let's say, they could have been several goals up. Vicario, in fact, made a couple of good saves as well.
Yeah.
The difference in their goals and their goalkeeper, like between this season and last, is so huge. Like, I mean, I'm a big fan of Fraser Foster as anybody, because you know what he did here, but that was a long time ago.
No Premier League quality.
And Vicario he looks proper good.
He's good with his feet as well, which is hugely important if you're playing it for the back.
Aye. He looks like, and again, like he wasn't someone that everybody was talking about and everyone was after, and it's like, oh, we need to bring him in. It seems to be someone that they've just sort of plucked. Like, obviously, he would have been known in Italy, but nobody in the Premier League was talking about Vicario.
Aye.
And they've just gone and got him. So, like, again, good scouting. I don't know if that's Ange's doing or if it was part of their recruitment team, like they already identified him before he got there. But he looks fantastic. He looks absolutely fit for what they need.
But then they get in at half time, 2-1 down, and then they come out, start the second half and score for a breakaway. Aye.
All their goals were sort of very what you would expect. Soak up the pressure and just counter and hope that our player is quick enough. Although the Kulusevski one was ridiculous, but I'll give
the fact that he absolutely fucking
leathers Ake, man.
Ake, who's like a tiny wee guy in it, man. He's a centre half.
It's the lack of positional awareness from Ake, because see if he turns around, sees him making the run in, he can brace himself, he can get ready and go for the aerial challenge, but instead he kind of makes this limp jump because he thinks he's on his own, and it's like, you've got to do better than that. And like last week against Liverpool, we were singing his praises for how well he's adapted to playing at left back and all that kind of stuff, but
you'd expect a centre back moving it to left back would be able to deal with that kind of ball.
Aye, you can't get beaten in there by a winger.
Absolutely tanked him as well. It was amazing.
Oh, to be fair, it's not like Kulusevski's like a normal size of winger. He's a big Swedish bastard, isn't he? So.
But let's get to the thing that's like get the most column inches since the game.
Yeah.
The play on. But wasn't there a play on?
Right.
So like Haaland gets the ball in halfway line, gets fouled, hits the deck, slides along on his knees, jumps back up, lofts the ball through for Grealish, who's through 1-on-1, and then the ref had gestured play on,
yep,
and then blew the whistle. So like my only explanation for it would be he thought one of the Spurs players were about to intercept the ball. And because of like the heat of the moment, every second's precious, I thought he was like doing City. In his head, he thought he was doing City a favour by blowing the whistle so that they could take the free kick quickly.
If he did think that, he's a fucking idiot. Because
you can't see it from his angle. We're watching it through.
I know, but you have to let it play.
I know.
It's why it's called play on.
I know. I'm just playing devil's advocate for the referees for a change.
So I've got a link for the rules, but my phone has no bloody signal in here right now. Did I send it? There might be. Have you got any signal?
Nah.
So basically, what the rules say, right, is. The referee should allow advantage if there is an advantage. It's irrelevant if the tackle made was a red card, if the player has a chance to go through and score. If it would be a detriment basically to the attacking team, the team that got the foul against them. If it would be a detriment to them, you should not stop the play.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of whether it's a red card or whatever, should not stop the play. So basically, every sort of possible criteria that are in the rules, this ticked it, like, of just let it play on.
Aye.
And he signals to let it play on.
And then blows his whistle.
It's like, refs, it's like you're trying to piss us off now. Like, genuinely, I'm not a City fan. I'm happy they didn't win that game.
I don't know if the City players were briefed off Pep or what, but like Pep's reaction, Pep was like, people make mistakes. And like, all the City
they all
players
just
were like,
told that line.
Everyone was like, people make mistakes.
I think he had a wee dig at Arteta as well.
He did. He was like, I'm not going to do a Mikel Arteta. Just a wee sly.
I mean, they are pals, but you could clearly
slight jab just to like, fucking moron.
I think that's it, man. Like, because I think quite a few managers this season have got like chastised for that kind of thing, and then obviously Lewis Dunk got two yellows, both for dissent the other day.
I think City have been charged for surrounding a ref as well, which just rubs salt in it.
Not only did we fuck you over, but we're going to fine you for the fact that you're annoyed that we fucked you over. Like, honestly, I'm running out of words to describe how bad the refereeing is these days. It's
it was the same ref that for the Spurs
Liverpool game.
So, although it wasn't his fault in that game.
No, but you know the conspiracy theories would be like Simon Hooper's just a closet Tottenham fan. Which is unlikely because so few people are. We've got the biggest stadium in fucking London. I do want to go back and talk about Grealish's actual goal though, because the defending was just woeful.
Aye, they were running a bit like Heedless Jang.
Aye, and like we have spoke about this before. The lack of depth at Tottenham is going to be a problem.
Yeah, and
I think that's just becoming apparent when they're at full strength and he has his team. They look really, really good. Obviously, they were top of the league. This is why it's really important that people like Daniel Levy and the fans give Ange time at that football club.
I think he's already got that.
I hope so. I hope so because they're enjoying the football they're seeing. But if he has time to bring in the players he actually wants, that could become a really good team.
I think the biggest thing for them is finishing top four. If they finish top four, Champions League money, then they can kick on for there.
And I think they've got a good chance to that. The only team that might upset that right now is Villa, who we'll get on to later. But I think they're the biggest threat to Spurs' top four chances. So they really need to get players back, and they really need them not to get stupid sending off like Christian Romero did.
Aye.
Because they can't afford to be without their two starting centre backs. They just can't. And is it Van de Ven or is it just Van Ven? I can never remember. The other centre back.
I don't know. Is that Van Veen that plays for Motherwell or just?
That's what I'm getting confused with. It is Van de Ven, he's brilliant. He looked phenomenal for them all season, and ever since he's got injured, that's been a huge loss.
Yeah.
So they really need all those players back, and when they do, they'll be sorted. But It was kind of a weird, really poor defending from City in this game. And there's only been a couple of times you could say that about them.
Well, I don't know, like, it's a bit of a pattern. They've conceded 10 goals in the last 4.
Yeah, which again, it's very unlike them because usually the opposition don't have enough possession to score.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for them was how wasteful they were with their chances. That's what it was. Tottenham had a few chances, but they took almost all of them. City had like 25 or something like that and took just 3 of them. So on another day, Haaland's getting 5 goals, Alvarez is getting a goal, Doku's getting a goal, and this is going to be the most one-sided game in Premier League history, but it is what it is. It worked out well for me. Keeps us top of the league. Newcastle versus Man United then?
Yes, mate. That's 7 consecutive home wins against Man United.
Oh my God, the Geordies must be fucking loving it.
It's incredible. Like, I know Man U have been shite, but it's still like, consider like Newcastle have been shite as well. Like, 7 consecutive wins, and like Newcastle's home form this season is fucking great.
Well, I know it's a cliche to say something's a cauldron, but St James's Park genuinely is.
Especially see the even kickoff suit St James's Park, the game against Man U, the game against Arsenal. Like, these are the games you want, like a big atmosphere. And we win both games 1-0. All right, the Arsenal game was much tighter.
It must also terrify away players there when they look into the crowd and there's just the biggest Geordie shirtless when it's like -4 degrees.
Hunters of fat Geordies with the Newcastle Brown Ale emblem on their bellies.
But literally on their bellies because they're nowhere near the top. They're just...
Yeah, no, it is, man, like tattooed on.
Was this rivalry born in the 90s? Was that when it was? Was it the whole Keegan Fergie?
That's when the spice got added to it. The late 90s. Newcastle were like...
That's what I thought, but you never know with these things. Some of them go back like weirdly long. Dallo very early on was showing how little faith he has in Onana. Fucking
honestly,
hell.
like, I'd be the same. Mate, there's so many bomb scares in that team. Like,
yeah.
You got like poor Diego Dallo, he looks behind him and he's got Onana, he looks to his right, he's got fucking Harry Maguire. He's just like, fuck this, man. In front of him, he's got fucking Anthony, who does fuck all.
Right, like,
poor guy.
Did you see when so Dallo gets it in the shot from behind the goalie? You just see Miggy's face going, oh, there's a chance here. Like, and then he like about to shout for a handball. It wasn't, but I could see why
could have been given though.
They were acquiring for it. So it was a good start, like, from Newcastle. We're passing about nicely. They look like the sort of big dominant team in this. Man, you were dreadful. Like, I don't remember them really laying a glove on you for like the first 60, 70 minutes.
No, like Rashford was non-existent.
I know.
Anthony was non-existent. They're terrible, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's definitely lost the dressing room completely.
Well, that's what's been said. That I think Sky... it was Kavi Solokol and a few other people, and we'll get on to Man U's response for that in a minute. But they were saying that a lot of the senior players in the dressing room are firstly annoyed at how he's treated Jadon Sancho, because they think it's just completely wrong. He didn't deserve that, and he certainly doesn't deserve to be relegated to the youth team for training. They're annoyed about how much running they're doing rather than like drills and passing about and stuff. They're annoyed about the way the team's set up. Like, basically everything a manager does. There's apparently a significant group of Manchester United senior players that are really not happy with it with Ten Hag. And obviously all these guys, the journalists that have said that, Man U have now banned from press conferences.
You just can't do that.
No.
Like, because they've said something you don't like. It's essentially the Facebook status, there's too many snakes in this world. It's just me and the kids from now on.
It's the journalism equivalent of it's my ball and I'm taking it home. Like,
it's my ball. Nobody else can play with it. I'm away up the road, boys.
Fuck it, honestly, it's so childish. You're one of, if not the biggest football club in the world, and you're going, no, you're not allowed in my press conferences anymore. Grow the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
When Jenko will get sacked, because he will get sacked.
Well, no, because you've got to think about it. He's got some easy games coming up, like Liverpool, Chelsea, Bayern Munich. So,
Oh, it's not like the Bayern Munich game means
so he'll bounce back in one of them.
I think, see if they suffer a heavy home loss against Bayern Munich. I think that might be it.
Yeah. Well, I think
Which
that's
is
a case
weird,
of when rather than this.
the league form's been really good up until the Newcastle
Yeah,
game.
because the league, who have they played? It was Sheffield
know.
United and Luton
Fulham.
and Brentford.
And every game
and-
they'd scored in the last minute.
Yeah, and they scraped it, and they weren't the better team in any of those matches, you know. And then again at the weekend in this game, Newcastle were just so much better than them. And although Man U will view their bigger rivals to be the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, City, they still care about the Newcastle game. They still don't want to lose it.
Aye.
And
If anything, Newcastle are competing for fourth with them.
yeah,
Like, it's
exactly.
probably a bigger game.
100% now. Like that is, much more of a realistic place for place rival. So I don't know. I don't think he's got too long left. But the question is, who else do you bring in? Who's out of a job right now that you could go and get? Because Nagelsmann's Germany manager now, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's Hansi Flick up to? Maybe him? I don't know. Yeah.
Like Hansi Flick.
Well, that is it. Like, I can see them just going down to Middlesbrough and taking Carrick, and then just like something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who they'd get because there's no obvious candidates. It'd be hilarious if it was Frank Lampard. I would love it so much.
Not a chance. Roy Keane.
Well, aye, after his success at Sunderland and Ipswich, they'll be absolutely desperate.
Mourinho, round 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mourinho. Well, in fact, there are some. Do you know what? Probably try and get De Zerbi.
Yeah, true.
Try and get someone like him or maybe Thomas Frank, someone that's been in the league for a little while. But I think that would just end up in a David Moyes position. I don't think there needs to be a club in between.
Aye.
It's like when we were just talking with Paul last week about Barkas at Celtic, and just the difference between going from one club to another. Obviously, he was a goalkeeper, so it's how much time you spend the ball and all that. But a manager making the jump from a team like Brighton or Brentford to Man United, and the eyes and the expectation and the focus and the pressure, it's just a completely different world. So whoever they get, they're going to have to pick very, very carefully. And the smart thing to do would be pick someone that's been at a big club and knows how to handle that expectation. But then again, that's only a former Real Madrid, Barcelona, that kind of level manager, and there's not many of them going about.
Plus, Ten Hag came for Ajax. Like, that Ajax team done very well. And that's a massive club.
That Ajax team done very well when they were miles ahead of anyone else in terms of the players they had available to them.
Yeah.
You look at that team, that's one of the best teams that I think have played in that league since, I don't know,
90s.
Since that Ajax team of the 90s. So they had a severe advantage to that. So I don't know if that was a particularly good example to look at or go, well, he's done brilliantly for Ajax when they were the only team in the league, so he must be good for us as well. So they need to be a bit more smart about that. Big Fabian Schär, before you even scored, was already taking runs and shots.
I know,
he was
knew.
having fun straight off the bat.
He knew that this was
we
going
got
to be an
this,
easy
lads.
game. He just looked fucking like Rashford and Anthony hadn't even fucking tied their laces. So
what have I got here? Isaac setting up themselves as well. Oh no, go on.
Speaking of Rashford, like, would you take him to Euros over Gordon or Sterling right now?
I wanted to ask you this question.
Not a chance.
Because Gordon, like, I know I compared him to Sterling last weekend or last pod, but see the way he positioned himself and scored that goal in this game, just hanging about the back post, being in the right spot and taking the easy tap, and that is classic City Sterling. That is what he did there. He scored quite a few goals now this season.
Yep.
He's always running. He's always working hard. Now, obviously, Rashford at his peak is a better footballer.
He's capable of so much more.
Anthony Gordon. But Gordon's young, and if he continues to have the kind of season he's having, and Rashford continues to have the kind of season he's having, if you should be picking Gordon.
But Southgate's going to pick Rashford and Jordan Henderson.
I think there'd also be some like certain parts of the not Man U fan base, like England fan base, that'd just be like, you can't pick Gordon over Rashford, like because they've still got this idea of what Marcus Rashford is. But there's probably quite a few wingers in there that could stake a claim to be in that team over Rashford. For one, fucking Raheem Sterling, who wasn't in the last England national team. So yeah, there's a few. But no, I'd take Gordon over Rashford right now. Rashford's not doing anything. And in fact, that was part of the problem in this game. Because once again, Tino Livramento and Kieran Trippier were outstanding.
Yep.
And they kept bombing forward from the back. And nobody was chasing back with them.
Yeah. So
Dalot and was it Wan-Bissaka on the other side had two players to deal with at all times, and also it was Trippier's cross to set up the goal, but Livramento was just causing problems for them all game, and he, like another very talented young English right back, it's like, stop hogging the ball, man. Like, was he the one that had does he have any Scottish?
He's got Scottish blood in him, mate.
Okay, come play for us. John McGinn's lovely.
No, it's like I think his dad's Portuguese.
Aye.
And his ma's Sandra for Springburn.
yeah. That's right. Because I got really excited at the idea that his mum was actually Sandra.
Sandra for Springburn.
But see, before that goal, it was the most one-sided 0-0 I've seen this season. Like it was embarrassing.
It's weird because like when I was watching it, usually at 1-0, you're kind of like, fuck. Like there's some nervy moments, but not at all.
No.
Pure breeze. Like,
no.
Man, you did fuck all. The only thing that made me nervous is the fact that Pope get injured.
Yeah.
And Dubravka's a good backup goalie, but I'd rather see Nick Pope in it.
Yeah,
it looks like it's long term.
Yeah, he's going to require surgery because it was a dislocation. And this has obviously sprouted so many rumours about who Newcastle are going to maybe try and bring in January. Would you be happy with Dubravka for the rest of the season, or do you think?
Nah, I would go for De Gea. He's a free agent.
He is a free agent.
How much cost you?
But he's got to cost you a shit ton of wages.
Oh fuck, but who cares? Newcastle United.
I hate
Saudi state money, mate.
I hate saying this because I like him, and I'd rather he was my first team goalkeeper, especially after what happened last night. Fuck's sake! But I think Aaron Ramsdale was the perfect solution to your problem.
I don't know.
He can pass. He's a brilliant shot stopper, and all he needs is confidence again. Someone to give him his backing, and the passing he has is just unbelievable.
If you can get him on a 6-month loan, but what happens if you can't sign him? Like, because when Pope comes back, what you got to do? You got to start Pope over Ramsdale?
No, obviously not.
You don't think so?
No.
Ramsdale can't get a game for Arsenal. See shit.
He can't get a game for Arsenal, therefore he wouldn't get it over Burnley's Nick Pope.
Hey.
No, Pope's a great shot stopper, but how many times have you been trying to play passing football and Nick Pope's just launched it at Rosie? I'm
going to start calling him the holy goalie now because he's Nick Pope.
Yeah, that will go down well with a Rangers supporting friend. No, like Pope's a good keeper, but I think Ramsdale is the exact kind of say Pope didn't get injured in the summer, I reckon you'd be looking for a goalie that could play out with your feet anyway. And if Ramsdale's still not playing for Arsenal, he's exactly the kind of keeper you would sign then. And if you can sign him now, and he plays 6 months to the end of the season for yous, he's going to be thinking, if I play really well here, I can get in that England squad.
No.
And that's the thinking, because peak Ramsdale is a better goalkeeper than Pickford.
Oh, aye.
Like, easily. So he should be the one starting in the English team.
Pickford.
Well, yeah, because Pickford's only got little arms. So.
Stupid wee T-Rex arms.
So I was at a Liverpool fan's house, and he taught me that song, he can't touch the crossbar, he can't touch the cross, he's only got little arms. He's singing about Jordan Pickford. Oh, it just fucking made me laugh. Lewis Miley.
Number 67, mate.
What a player.
What a legend.
Is he 17?
Yep.
Has he been spoke about amongst Newcastle fans, or has he just come out of nowhere?
Came out of nowhere, mate. Like, he came like straight out of the reserves, didn't he? Because of the
Tonali situation and
thing.
He looks very, very
grabbing
good.
His opportunity with both hands.
Aye. The thing is though, I think you'd probably say that about when the Longstaffs came through. Everybody was like, holy fuck, look at these guys.
Local boys.
Yeah.
But that's what Newcastle are all about. Like, even when Newcastle are doing well, like when the year Newcastle finished 5th, Paul Dummett was in the team. Do you know what I mean? Like Newcastle United love having at least
Joel's
one local lad in the team. Either the Longstaffs or Dan Burn, a local lad in the team is what everyone Newcastle are about, even if they're not that great.
he is seizing the opportunity, and I hope it works out well for him, because he looks like he's got the potential to be a really useful midfielder.
Aye.
But it's one of those things, you don't want it too much too soon. Like that Bajetic that played for Liverpool a couple of times last season at Necessity and looked brilliant, and haven't heard a thing from him since.
Aye.
You know, you don't want it to come too soon, and then, you know, inflate someone's ego, and then they all of a sudden think they're better than they are, and they just don't get the game time anymore. I'm not saying that's what happened with Bajetic. I have no idea, but it's always a risk with young footballers when they get a big chance very quickly.
Arsenal Wolves.
Oh, aye. You were saying that Luis Diaz's dad looked like the coldest wee guy. Did you see Arteta at the start of this game? I've never seen him look more like he wanted to live in Spain again. He's like, you used to live in Glasgow, mate. What are you talking about?
Glasgow, Liverpool.
Aye, exactly. You'd think he'd be used to it. But no, this game started out, again, in the same way with the City Spurs game. You start thinking, this could be a thumping.
I messaged you after 15 minutes when it was 2-0, this could be another 5.
Because the way Arsenal were playing at that point in time, it was like, bloody hell, man. Like, they were such good football.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
I was like, bloody hell.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Fenton. No, it was... He played, they were playing brilliant stuff. Odegaard was just pulling all the strings in that midfield.
Looked good.
Saka looks like he's grown. And I don't mean like he's just got hench. He genuinely looks taller than he used to.
He's got lifts in. He's got lifts in his boots.
Skechers pump shoes.
I mean, his studs are 8 inches long.
Alright. He's wearing Spice Girl shoes.
My platforms.
He's a reference to the Spice Girls. Jesus Christ.
He took his goal well.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have been able to score that goal though.
No, they got a bit of luck with the ball hitting off the defender and coming back to him just so, but the pass and play in the build up to that was just it was vintage Arsenal. It was so good, and you could see Odegaard's hand in all of it. He was just directing the play so well. I think there was also another chance that Trossard had that he really should have scored, but that's after the goalie got injured and they basically just fell on the ball. But I'm getting ahead of myself there. Saka looked brilliant. Odegaard completely controlling the game. Although the worry with Saka is if he is actually getting more hinge, like we discussed last week, you don't want a winger like that to get too big.
Aye.
So please don't get injured, Saka.
Carlos Queiroz would go mental.
Or if you want to get injured at the last game of the season so you don't need to play in the Euros, that would do me. Yeah. That's fine. Second goal, brilliant as well.
Yeah.
And you can see the difference that Jesus makes in that team. Obviously, for a lot of the game, it was his dribbling that was causing the problems because he's got such good ball control.
Aye.
But I mean, he's a Brazilian, so it's maybe not that surprising.
He came at the womb. Doing keeping ups.
I'm not going to ask with what. I'm not going to.
10 step overs with his twin that didn't make it.
Last week you were making it that I'm the problematic one in this podcast.
Oh, Jesus.
Surely Jesus would have just rose him for the dead.
Killed you.
But no, he looked brilliant, and that 1-2 was Zinchenko, just completely carved him open. And then Odegaard's not going to miss from there. Well, then again, I would have thought that about Haaland, and he did. So, showing the other Norwegian how it's done. Once. I mean, I love how I'm having a go at Haaland.
I know, it's pure shite.
50 goals in 49 matches or whatever it is. He's pish. Get him off. Genuinely, I thought at this point it could be quite an embarrassing scoreline. Sa got injured. Arsenal just looked like they were going to run away with it.
Yep.
Saka hit the post as well. Such a shame for him. I really wanted that to go in just because I love him. But you have to give Wolves credit.
I know, they hung in there and then gave you a fucking good scare at the end.
But it's even after they got that goal, it's like it pissed Arsenal off and they just went back down the other end and they almost got a third instantly. It's like when you were saying with the Man United game, I don't really think there was any point that I was worried about what was going to happen. And people were saying after the game, like they were giving Wolves a lot of credit and all that kind of stuff and saying it wasn't a one-sided match. And then you look at the stats and go, gee, like, what are you talking about?
Do you think, so like, when I watched the highlights this, it felt like it looked like Arsenal got nervous and it felt like the stadium got nervous. And like the Newcastle game, like I was saying, at 1-0 even in the last 5 minutes, because Newcastle have been winning loads of games 1-0 at home. Do you think because you have lost so many points for winning positions, especially at home, in games that you wouldn't consider that hard? Remember, like against Southampton last season? Yeah,
that was a big problem last season with Arsenal.
This season they might have got the stadium might have got nervous. Players might not.
That has been a problem in the past, but I think that this season, certainly in general, because they've got a habit of scoring late, almost like Fergie time level goals. And you saw it again last night with Declan Rice, who again, when they need it, steps up and scores a really big important goal. I think they're kind of getting over that now. I mean, there was a chance for Eddie Nketiah that he really should have scored as well. That game could have been 4-1, 5-1 comfortably, with the chances they created. So I don't think there was probably a bit of tension because it wasn't just the likes of Southampton. Even like Nottingham Forest last season, there was a bunch of games where they just got like shaky and you could see maybe a bit of confidence dipping out of them, but they seem to have this sort of almost grit that they never used to have, and I think having someone like Declan Rice in there is a big part of that sort of never say die attitude they have now, and it's leading to a lot of late goals as well as keeping teams out. So I think it's looking like a positive season. I still think City are going to come back and win the league, but if we can push them again for it, that's about as much you can hope for. Yeah. And good run in the Champions League, hopefully for the first time in years, and maybe pick up like an FA Cup or something. Then you got to consider that a good season.
Aye.
So I mean, it should have been more comfortable. Could have been more comfortable, but you take the 3 points in a win. Cunha looked good again though. It's a good finish player from him. He's going to be gone soon. So apologies, Wolves fan, but
he's Brazilian as well, isn't he?
Portuguese, I think.
Oh, is he?
Well, he's playing for Wolves. Have a guess.
Of course, aye.
I'm sure he's Portuguese. I'm sure he's Portuguese. Right, we'll move on to a relegation 6-pointer.
Wow, mate.
Who saw this coming?
Burnley, man.
Burnley.
I know they play great football now and stuff, but I still hate them, man. I can't get my head on it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Like, we thought Sheffield United losing to Bournemouth was bad, like 3-0, but 5-0 to Burnley.
I know.
And I mean, there is someone particularly that is to blame for that, but we'll get on to that in a bit. 15 seconds to score a goal.
Jay Rodriguez.
The second time in his career.
Jay Rodriguez. Fucking who? Like, I've not heard that name in years. I didn't even know he was still playing. I thought he was in like League One or something, like, honestly.
You'd think so because he is quite old, but he started off at Burnley, so that's like his club, so he went back to them. But
there was a period for Southampton where he was dynamite.
Yeah, he got an England cap.
That's right.
And then he got a really bad injury, and that just sort of curtailed his career entirely. But he was like considered one of the hot prospects. But everyone that Southampton team back then it was a very, very good team.
Surprised Liverpool never signed him.
As soon as he got injured, it was like, sorry mate, I need to rip up that contract we wrote for you. But it was the second time he scored in 15 seconds. He apparently did it against Chelsea as well for Southampton.
I've just seen a bit in your notes about his career. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I did not see that earlier.
So what he said that you don't know is that he spent time on loan at Stirling Albion, which is really bizarre. And goal fans will be delighted to know that they once beat Selkirk 20-0. So well done, Stirling Albion.
It says the Beanos.
That's their nickname. The Beanos.
Is that their nickname?
Aye. I don't know if it's the Beanos or the Binos, but
Oh, is it?
Albion. So yeah, Binos it would have been. Yeah, Stirling Albion.
The Binos?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's
This is the most they've ever been talked about in any capacity.
Anywhere. Oh, man.
But yeah, no, it was a pretty damning indictment of Sheffield's performance that their best chance of the game was a 30-yard volley from Norwood.
Right.
That was bad, man.
They were shocking, man.
And Burnley weren't even particularly outstanding. They were just better than Sheffield United. And then obviously, Ollie McBurney, I don't know whether he wanted to get sent off, but
mate, like I would be checking the betting patterns on a red card for him because it looked like he was desperate to get sent off.
But it's
The first one, I thought VAR should have overturned that straight away. But it's the fact that he does the same thing again.
the thing that I think stops him from getting a red in the first one is the way he's made it look like this is just part of a natural tussle.
I bet he looks where he should on this.
I know, but it's the way he shapes his body. And that it kind of makes it look like, oh, I'm just holding off and sheltering the ball.
I think he grimaces as he's doing it. He's like,
aye, and it is let down slightly later when he leaps elbow first into another. It's the same guy,
exact same thing.
I think it was the same defender as well. I think it was Shea, yeah. I mean,
I would be checking the betting patterns on his red cards.
I think he just wanted off.
Aye.
He's not a, let's face it, he's not a Premier League player. Even when he was at his peak, it'd be difficult to claim that Ollie McBurney was a Premier League player.
Remember he scored like 12 goals in half a season in the Championship and started up front for Scotland.
Aye, I know.
I feel like this guy's the fucking answer.
We've fallen for that a few times before.
Aye.
Jordan Rhodes, Stephen Fletcher.
Oh, John Rhodes, man.
Chris Iwelumo.
Hey. Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
We're not sanctifying Chris Iwelumo. I'm sorry, I'm not having that. So anyway, long story short, the result of this game is that Heckingbottom got sacked and Chris
replaced
with Chris Wilder.
Yep.
Genius decision because it worked out so well last time.
What's the point, man? Like, what is the point?
Like, don't get me wrong, because Sheffield United fans will be annoyed. Like, he took them from League One into the Premier League, finished in 9th in the Premier League, which was incredible, by using overlapping centre backs, which no one had ever seen before.
Oh, that was wild. That's right.
Chris Mepham or Basham or what was it? And then the next season, everyone knew he was going to do that, and they got relegated.
Yeah, they get smashed all the time.
I think it's
how many goals have they conceded this season? Because remember Newcastle tanked them.
Newcastle thumped them. I think Arsenal gave them a bit of a bloody nose as well. Then Burnley did it. Yeah, that's the thing. Someone on another podcast said it's not the fact that they're losing; it's the doings that have gotten his job taken off.
Aye.
But I don't know any manager that could come in there and turn that around. You give it to Ancelotti, he'll still not do it. So
yeah,
they're going down. And also, we don't know any Sheffield United fans, so go fuck yourself.
These are all a bunch of blades.
Aye, right. Rattle through a few more of these.
Oh, mate, we've not even talked about what for me was the game of the weekend.
What was it, Liverpool Fulham?
Aye. It was a fucking scream. And considering you had a fucking Man City Spurs 3-3.
Aye. But this is when...
For me, this is why Liverpool are the best team to watch in the league. Because we were talking about this last week. We had Dan on, and we were saying like how like Man City are a better team. Aye. But like football wise, I'd much rather watch Liverpool beat cunts 4-3, scoring in the last minute. Like just going out to score is more than the opposition.
From a footballing perspective, City's goal, I can't even say that in this game, but City's goals in general are more beautiful to watch because it's a beautiful bit of pass and play. But in this game,
4 screamers.
This game, it was a bit different. Fulham, I don't know where they got the confidence to do what they were doing, because Liverpool, not only are they unbeaten at Anfield this season, they haven't dropped points at Anfield this season. And they were like, they started off slow, Fulham, but at one point they were just like, no, let's have a go at these guys every now and then.
Yeah.
Christ knows how they managed to do it. But Trent Alexander-Arnold, that free kick, see, when I saw it, because I only saw it from behind in the first place, I was like, that is one of the best free kicks I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. What I hit, from that far out, you get the power on it, the dip on it, the placement. I was just like, that is genuinely one of the best free kicks I've ever seen. And then I realised it only went in because I hit off Leno, and then I shite, man, he's fucking shit.
It's such a shame.
Aye. It's a shame for both of them because Leno's been really good
he
for
doesn't
Fulham.
deserve to have an OG against his
No.
And they should just get a goal to Trent, man. He's fucking...
I know they can't, but...
I think they should always just like give that to the player. See if the ball strikes a post, hits the back of the keeper and goes in.
Aye.
It's a fucking goal.
Do you know what it reminded me of? Because if the keeper wasn't there, that would have just came out. Do you remember that ridiculous Nedved volley from like miles and miles out? I think it was for Juventus, and he rattles it off the bar, and everyone was just like, "You should just give him that," because it was such a good thing. Yeah, he got a goal later on, so it's not like not like it
last minute winner.
Aye,
well playing in midfield as well.
What impressed me about Trent's like run up for the free kick though is because there's no distance to it.
Two steps.
It's like very Beckhamy, like the way
Beckhamy, very Beckhamy.
I'm coming up with new
Beckham-esque
adjectives all the time. Yeah, and you see, I had to have a quick think about what the correct term was. Yeah, is it an adjective or would that be an adverb? This isn't a punctuation.
Fucking hell, man. Here we go, Carthage. Here we come.
Watching autism happen in real time. Answering a comment, I think I know, but I'm not going to say it again anyway. What else have we got here? Yeah, Trent. Other than that, he like some of the passes he was playing in the game. Like he's superb. I know Dan says he doesn't want to play him as a midfielder, but Christ, he'd make a good one. Like
I think so. Like Dan was saying, it's better when he comes in after the right, because like it causes an overload. But I think other teams know how to play against that, so they put somebody out wide because Fulham exploited that.
Yeah, that's
as much as he was as much as he was great going forward. So I think just put Gomez, who's like a good enough defender. Like he's no amazing going forward, but by sacrificing that on there, you've got Trent in the middle who can have much more influence in the game. It's just whether or not he can play like that when he's got people fucking on top of him all the time.
And I think this is symptomatic of the thing we've talked about before, and why Liverpool are kind of back to that heavy metal football that they played when Klopp first came in, is because they've had to completely revamp the squad. That midfield isn't what it used to be. They don't have the players that used to come in and cover and allow Trent to do that. And because that was Henderson's role, was just go and cover there, that's why it's getting exposed all the time. And it didn't when Fabinho and Henderson were there, because they would make up for the fact that Trent was going to make that move. So now they're back to the original way before they had Fabinho in the team, doing that kind of job, before they had Van Dijk in the team. They're back to that thing where they'll just outscore you. Give Klopp a season or two to bring in an actual defensive midfielder and all that kind of stuff. You'll get them back to being...
McAllister's goal was a fucking screamer.
Jesus.
It was a screamer.
It's technically a half volley because it was bouncing when he hit it.
Screamer, man.
His body
that
position,
was a pick of
man.
the bunch for me.
Aye. He's got his head over the ball, but also like he's angled himself to the side, so
he just gets perfect.
It just curls away from the goal. Like that is...
Screamer.
If that's not goal of the month this season, because
Garnacho
last season, sorry, not this season. Sorry, I meant month. That was last month.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, this month.
December's has to be. It has to be McAllister's, because the way he hits that, I actually prefer watching that to Garnacho's. I do.
Nah, Garnacho's a special.
No, because I think unlike Garnacho's, it's an overhead kick. It's a young player. Yes, it's very impressive to watch, but there's an element of luck to it. Because he's gone, I'm just going to hit this and hope.
Aye.
McAllister's gone, you can tell by the way he's positioned his body, I know exactly what I'm doing and I'm going to lamp this and it's going to like... I
know, but like, it's just because it's more rare an overhead kick, man.
Aye, although I've not seen many goals like that. And then Endo had a cracker of a goal as well, man. And Trent's was a good finish as well. Like, this is the thing, like we say, heavy metal, we will score more goals than you. They going forward, even when Salah has the only off day I've seen him have in about 6 years.
He never even got an assist in this game, did he?
No.
It's like first game in like fucking this season.
I know.
Where he's not had a goal involvement.
Mind blown. I think Fulham actually sucked quite a lot of the atmosphere out of the stadium. For a long period of time it was quite quiet. And then Darwin Núñez ran through and I think he rattled the crossbar. Yeah. And then that got everyone G'd up again, which is what he's good for. He's always going to get the crowd on board. Just didn't score, but he's a bit of a very talented mascot for them. Like the Liverpool fans will always get on board.
Talisman.
Aye, that's probably a better word for it rather than a talented mascot.
Talented mascot.
But I mean, you got to be worried about a defensive De Cordova-Reid scoring. Right, let's rattle through a few more. Chelsea, Brighton.
Yep.
Don't know what Brighton are doing at the start of these games now. Like, as a few times he said in this, they look a bit shaky, disorganised, and obviously they didn't have Lewis Dunk there to organise that defence because he called Anthony Taylor a bell end and got sent off for it.
Yeah, fucking bell end. To be fair, he's right.
He does look like one as well.
Yeah.
So they were just all over the place at the start, and then finally found a rhythm and managed to get themselves back into it, and then Chelsea were given an absolute bullshit penalty in my opinion. It's a contact sport. That's a shoulder barge / tussling for the ball.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're just old now, but when we were watching football in the 90s and the noughties and stuff like that, that would have even have registered.
Plus it was Milner on Mudryk on it, which isn't fair because
he shouldn't be catching up with you anyway.
Because when Mudryk was born, Milner was 38, so so that is a bullshit.
He'd already played 500 games.
So I think help the age.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a nonsense penalty.
No.
And the problem is with Brighton, the way they're playing now, it's very exciting to watch, like the Liverpool stuff. But if you give a team like Chelsea a 2-goal head start on you, you're always going to find it very difficult to come back and win. Like, João Pedro's in my fantasy team and he scored again, so I'm happy about that. But
nice.
You need to start defending properly. What about Gallagher's red? I don't think there's much to talk about now.
Yes, isn't it?
He seemed slightly surprised by it, but it's like you 2 yellow cards. What are you expecting?
Yeah.
Caicedo was lucky not to get a booking as well when he just comes in behind and wipes the guy out. But I don't know what the referee was doing. I'd never know what the referees are doing. So.
I need to know what the refs are doing these days.
Bournemouth versus Villa.
Yep.
Bournemouth are beginning to look almost like a decent football team at times.
I know, the thingy, Solanke looks decent.
I know.
I'd be interested because now that all the big teams are in the market for strikers now, and he's a striker, like an out-and-out striker. I don't think he's goal
that mistake's been made before by several teams.
But it's just because, you're Benteke's the world. You're Juan de Carlos.
No, even Solanke, Liverpool, Chelsea. No, he's not good enough. And also, Villa.
What about Watkins on the other side then? Do you take him at Arsenal?
As a backup
over Nketiah, defo.
Yeah, but there's also part of my head that I just cannot get over the thought that he might be just getting a little bit overhyped. Right now. He's in a system that really works well for him with a manager that gets the best out of him, and it's kind of reminding me of like Danny Welbeck when he was at Man United. Like, because Fergie knew how to get the best out of Welbeck, he looked a better player than he was, and then everywhere else he went, he was never anywhere near as good as that. And I think that might happen with Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
If say Ivan Toney was to make a jump like that, I would have far less concern about Toney being able to do it than Ollie Watkins, despite the fact that Watkins has played in the league a lot longer. I don't know why. There's just something, like, I think he's a good player and he might go on to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that Ollie Watkins is England's backup striker, like, compared to other nations and like the other big boys. That just seems like, it's Ollie Watkins, man. Like, he's your backup.
It's Ollie Watkins.
Fucking Harry Kane, Ollie Watkins.
True.
There's just something about it, man. Villa are a bit dodgy away from home, and that's what happened again. So, right, should we just wrap this up?
Forest Everton 1-0 dice ball, boring.
There's some hit from McNeil, but they didn't. I don't think they deserve to win that at all. To me, Forest should have had a penalty as well. I will say that it's far more of a penalty than the Mudryk one. And Brentford Luton, shite standard. West Ham Palace, boring 1-1 draw. One of the worst games.
Edward scored a scuff.
Yeah, Edward scored, but should have scored another one. I don't think either team will be that arsed about drawing that game. West Ham would want to win it, obviously, because they're at home and they have ideas about coming higher up in the table, but it's a 1-1 draw. It's pretty harmless to either of them.
Before we go, I'll do a trivia this week, so we've not done one.
Yeah.
The last few pods, I've got a fucking screamer of trivia. So for this trivia this week, name the only player that's played in goal for Man United and scored a goal for Newcastle United.
Oh,
I'll tell you after.
I do know this and I just can't remember.
I'll tell you afterwards. Though.
Yeah. That's the one wee bonus fact that we want to say, because I heard this on the Football Ramble podcast, so fair play to them. Donny van de Beek has completed 1 pass this full season. So there you go. And on that note, it's goodbye from Patrick.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Stay fresh, cheese bags.